We are back in the valley finishing up our second year, and this was a month of many problems for sure, and a month of Emily refusing to let us divorce her for a while. But nonetheless, we have made tons of progress again, so let's look at all the new mods for the season first. We have 4 quality of life mods, one that changes grass colors between seasons, one to allow us to move animals from one farm to another. Grass will no longer disappear when eaten by animals, and we added a tool pouch to save on inventory space, though that will later be removed. For content, well, it's a decent amount. Bushes will now grow crystal berries in winter, animals now produce manure which can be turned into fertilizer. We have purchasable pedestals from Robin to be able to showcase the mods around our farms, a new look skill, the ability to pick up clutter such as rocks, weeds and ore nodes, though this causes us many problems as you're gonna see. We can grow mulberry trees to make silk, we have more crops from Tala's crops mod, wall mounted shelves to decorate the house, we can hang lanterns from trees and place them in the water, we have more cooking recipes which use mayo, and we finally added a cooking skill as well as 2 small expansions in the form of Diamond in the Rough and Sword and Sorcery, which adds their own set of crops, craftables, quests and NPCs. So let's dive into the season. On day 1, we looked over all the new NPCs we should need to meet, Emily gave us a crocus, and we danced on our farm together. Louis let us know that we can buy bee houses from Robin, though I immediately forget this, and in the mail we got the cherry tomato recipe, squash spaghetti, and PBJ sandwich recipe too. We also got the tool pouch and stored all our tools away inside. The pickup clutter mod had us place down some hay which we couldn't pick up again. We got our first crystal berries and Monday sorting began. 6 small pickled fish got stored, an iridium quality ancient doll, rare disc and trilobite were stored, all qualities of everlasting clematis, a purple coneflower and all-star cactus was stored, sweet gem jelly was shipped, 5 dried goods and 4 dried flowers were placed away, 6 forbidden makeup creations from Mount Vapius minerals got stored, and we set up a chest finally for juice, getting the first 6 juices placed inside. And all in all, not too busy of a Monday sort. We headed over to Pierre buying blue rose seeds, pansy, snapdragon, arctic raspberry, ochre, red carrot, sea buckthorn, yacon, yellow onion, mint, spaghetti squash, winter rose, giant snowdrop, lilac pansy, amaryllis and striped quill. We got the dehydrator recipe finally, the birch syrup recipe too. From Plentiful Harvest we bought parsley, broccoli, chard, lettuce, elderberry and silver gourd before heading to do some exploring. We found a rose pops on a bush, asked Robin for a deluxe coop, bought some item pedestals and set to work getting all those new crops down, including in the bee area for possible new honeys. The rotten plant from last season was stored, we picked up an artifact spot, watched our pickaxe and hoe disappear as we tried to put it in the tool pouch and slept the first day away. Our lost tools had gone into lost and found overnight, and we maxed out our hearts with Emily on day 2. She asked us for 200 fiber for a secret gift she wanted to make for us. Tala had sent for us the kumquat tart recipe. The henchman was angry at us for getting him fired, and we received a cryptic note from B about completing some challenges for him. We collected twigs and stones in front of Grandpa's shed, got a prize ticket and chose the island ingredients as our first request of the season, and that ticket got us 5 iridium bars before we collected our missing tools which had reverted back to their original quality. We spawned back in the correct tools, foraged at the beach, picked up a new artifact spot, spawned in another axe and hoe as they disappeared again. At Ginger Island we got the jewel from the west side, met Leo properly for the first time, got the golden walnut from his house, picked up weeds and some ocean mist grapes, and spent a good chunk of the day here collecting a few of the easy to get walnuts we hadn't gotten at the end of autumn. We used the walnuts to unlock the dig site, we picked up the different weeds and stones from here before clearing it out and getting our first fossilized leg. Golden walnuts in the area were gathered. We harvested all the cactus that was grown, picked up a muscle stone and headed home. A chest for the pickup clutter mod was made, we shipped our first ocean mist grape, added all quality of jade flower to be preserved forever and dried, and stored away all the clutter before sleeping. On day 3, Emily got the fiber they were asking for, we expanded the pineapples, stored away 6 different qualities of manure, and set up an area to start turning the excess manure into fertilizer for us. We had a hot cocoa with Susan, and visiting the Void Ranch, we found out our dinosaurs could find ancient seeds for us. We then completed the collection of manure, set our first batch of ancient fruit turning into seeds, and planted them down. And on the way to the market Palooza, we found our first chill bell. Here we bought a load of things for the collection, a traditional lantern, desert sunrise, dusty biker, creamsicle, goth cowboy, rustic, color of fall, neon nightmare, mayo, mutant, blue crop, the legend, crimson, obscure and rare shirt, and from Pierre we got the kitty ears, blue and white chicken hat, and the pink pirate hat before stocking up on passerby cemetery seeds. We got a skull display and 3 extractors for artisanal goods, bought all the mayo recipes from Gus, and a good selection of artisanal treats from Nikolai. We won the raffle, getting a birch mini table, and then headed home. In a bid to make this the season of upping our artisanal production, we crafted up some flour syrup makers, a kitchen mortar, and got them placed in the shed with the extractors before doing some cooking. And we cooked up the green stew, green smoothie, carp, and mayo surprise, as well as a gingerbread man before sleeping. Our cooking leveled up as we slept, and on day 4 we filled up the kitchen mortar, flour syrup, and extractors to start making new goods for us. We gathered more ginger on the island, freed Professor Snail, answered his quizzes for more walnuts, and made our first donation. We got another walnut using the slingshot, and climbing the mountain found 3 more. We got that shortcut unlocked, bought the ginger ale recipe, and made it to the summit where we met Lance for the first time and got that free prismatic shard. The pirates built us the volcano bridge, we harvested cactus, storing away the final aloe that we were missing, and all qualities of candelabra before sleeping on the island. On day 5 there was some more cactus to harvest, we got the aquamarine from the east side of the island, gathered a few more walnuts, caught our first seahorse, and headed on home. Candelabra cactus was set to preserve, a cinder shard was stored and shipped, as was a chill bell. And in the mail we got the recipe to make field pea succotash, Nikolai was asking for a choco fruit, and we also learned how to make a straw scarecrow. And the wizard was also asking us for an iridium bar. The Queen of Swords showed us how to make rabbit au vin, we cooked up a pie crust, steamed rice and ginger ale, and then we slept. Luck leveled up as we slept, and on day 6 Lance was at the farm ready to give us his schedule. But I'm gonna stop you right there, as day 6 and 7 were a bust and needed redoing, so here is the why. For one thing, his schedule ended up stuck on the floor, as did a lobster Gus was requesting. I won't go into the detail about everything else we achieved on day 6, but after it all and sleeping into day 7, we lost everything outside of the farm. All our walls, all our bee houses, all our fences, everything that we had crafted and basically put down that wasn't a path. An unfortunate side effect of the pickup clutter mod had classed everything we had placed outside the farm as forage, and on the reset day of Sunday, it had all been deleted and got lost. And I wouldn't have been able to figure all of this out without the help of 2 members from my Discord, so I'm very grateful to them for all of their help. So let's do a redo of day 6 and 7, shall we? On day 6, we removed the pickup clutter mod and tool pouch, and on day 6 again, Lance was at our front door and gave us his schedule, which got properly stored away this time. We froze time to save our world from deletion, picking up every item outside the farm on stream. We met San and Mateo at the mines, which we definitely already hadn't done before, and I wasn't getting some sense of deja vu. And then we spent the evening placing it all back down to ensure it was no longer seen as forage, and that was the entirety of our day 6. On day 7, our world was saved, and we received some heaviest seeds in the mail from Lyle. We finally had all the crop spots in the greenhouse filled out. We asked Robin for a big barn, watched Marnie making some yogurt with all the milk we gave her last season. We bought a scaled quail from Marnie, completing the quail collection, naming it Adamus, and we got 2 rabbits, calling them Kiari and Sachi. We set up a load of salmon berries getting turned into pectin, stored an ancient seed from our dinosaurs, and spent the evening clearing out the farm quarry. Our luck leveled again as we slept, and on day 8 we received the kumquat upside down cake recipe and that all important yogurt jar recipe from Marnie. We got 5 iridium sprinklers down to increase our crop yields, spawned in a watering can as it was in the tool pouch mod we no longer had, and planted on down all our blue roses. Adamus, the original, exploded into meat, but their soul went into their new plumed quail body, and it was time for another Monday sorting. Void products got silver void wool. The dehydrator had honey added into it to get us some honeycomb. We added crocus, sweet pea, daffodil, and dandelion to be turned into syrup. Into artifacts went an ancient doll and rare disc, silver quality prehistoric tool, and iridium dwarvish helm and scroll. Mugwort, pelican mint, thistle, and valerian were forever stored, and oregano was shipped. All qualities of fairy fingers, gem sea cashew, jade, lapis, amber berries, as well as red onion were forever stored. Cave flowers, blue bonbons, and gem isle jasmine were also stored as well. Maple syrup went into the kitchen mortar, and we shipped almond cake, corn and pastry flour, pectin, rainbow sprinkles, and stored the rest away into the artisanal chest. At the Festival of Ice, we bought some wallpaper, frozen dreams, winter rug, winter dining table, wall scones, winter end table, truffle bar recipe, and 6 juniper seeds. We fished, won, shipped off some boba pearls, set caviar being made, and Emily had finally finished her secret project, gaining us the clothes only accessible through marriage to them. Cooking before bed, we made pineapple juice, void caviar toast, carrot cake, fugu, pasta primavera, broccoli cheese soup, and quiche, and then we headed on to sleep. Our cooking leveled up as we slept, and on day 9 the first of our new crops was ready. We could ship up yacon, yellow onion, spaghetti squash, red carrot, and ochre. We used the peditals to get the sliced fruit, and Jojo mods showcased how we want them and set about completing some errands. Pam got a battery. We had a date with Emily. Pierre hates Boxy. We bought Snapdragon, Amaryllis, striped quill chard, and lettuce from Pierre, as well as a decent amount of sugar. Gus got a lobster, and we bought a random assortment of recipes from him. The cinema got 2 of the items it required. Clint processed a load of geodes. We got the prismatic shard into the museum, as well as 3 artifacts from Stardew Expanded. And we asked for a trash can upgrade, and this week chose the mysterious venture to complete. At East Scout, we chatted to Eve and helped Jacob find a black cat before clearing out an area of the farm here, as we will be using this place for bush crops and fish ponds in the future. Haley insulted Pop, calling them a rat. We set up a chest to auto-collect the beach trash for us and added the sugar to start the syrup making process and slept. Our legs improved as we slept, and on day 10 our first elderberries were ready. We planted down the crops we bought yesterday, made our 3rd drying rack, dug up a fossilized apple, found our first ridge riser, and asked Robin for a deluxe barn and got the tree lantern recipe. We continued to work towards the island ingredients request. Nikolai got the choco fruit he was requesting, and Sebastian got a frozen tear for his birthday. And afterwards we saw a scene between Sebastian and Demetrius, which I'll be honest made me start liking Demetrius a little bit more. Chard was ready, so one was shipped, and each quality stored away, and before bed we did a little bit of cooking again, making mushroom rice, fries and ketchup, stuffed onion, fry bread, maypop sugar cookie, and then we slept. On day 11, Sebastian taught us the onigiri recipe. We harvested buckthorn and added 9 new honeys to the collection. Sea buckthorn and lettuce were shipped. We collected our trash can and asked for a hoe upgrade while we were there. We got the topaz from the north of the island while collecting more ginger, found the mummified frog, and realized the pickup clutter mod had despawned the gems we had already placed down. Don't get me wrong, the mod is kind of fun. I just added it a little bit too early before it was more stable, and that's entirely on me. Our first mango was ready, so we shipped it and invested in the agriculturalist perk in the mastery cave. The wizard got an iridium bar that he had requested. We found a new painting in the trash, and I can't remember when we realized this, but we're gonna have to pick up and put down everything on the farm as well, as at some point they have been classed as forage, and the final night of winter would delete the entire farm. On day 12, we learned how to make maple walnut bars. Arctic raspberries were harvested, shipped and stored. We bought the portrait of Emily and asked Robin to build us a well. After talking to Gunther about the history of the valley, we bought our first 2 geese, naming them Sierra and Aleja, and began incubating our first gem geode. We filed for divorce, set down the Amanita mod in its final place, hung up our picture of Emily, stocked up on wood, and went to sleep for the night. In the mail on day 13, we learned how to make a baked potato from Gunther, and Willie asked us for a lingcod. The first of our winter roses were ready, so they were stored and shipped, and we completed the mysterious venture request from Marlon after giving him all the bombs he wanted. The golden hoe was collected, and we asked for a steel trash can, remembering today to buy from Sandy the winter crops that she sells from Ilysses Winter Crops mod. Pop got a birthday gift. We placed down the last iridium sprinkler needed next to the animal enclosure and got some juniper berries planted down there. Silly got another strawberry, and foraging at Ridgeside allowed us to ship off a Ridgeside Clementine, Aurorian Iris, Sierra Wintergreen, and Frost Clump Berry from the shipping list. We stored away a golden animal cracker, and we slept again. On day 14, Zanir was at our door with Silly, and they felt it was time to show Silly to the town, which we immediately did, which seemed to end the ancient feuds with the slimes. Due to this, Silly now knew how to make slime hearts and showed us how to make them, allowing us now to buy them from Pierre's store. It was Harvey's birthday, so he got a golden quality bearberry. On the island, we planted down taro, collected ginger, and donated the frog to Professor Snail. The illegal and forbidden void sheep cheese collection was completed, and at home that evening, Gabriel was there to give us some new recipes using the slime souls. A blood orange and slime heart was shipped, and we started working on a new crop area, planting on down 9 slime seeds before heading to bed. On day 15, we learned how to make pesto pasta and lasagna. Broccoli, amaryllis, and parsley were ready, so they got shipped and stored. We planted down radicchio and turnips, and our third Monday sorting began. Preserved silver and gold jade cactus, as well as normal wax agave, were stored, with a decent selection of other cactus and flowers set to be preserved forever. Our caviar was ready for the cinema, and sweet gem jelly was stored. Aloe, crackle apple, frost apple, barrel fruit, bahidaj, sea bean, opuntia, ocean mist, rose pops, moon gold apricot, gem sea cashew, slimy fruit, and calico pistachio were set to turn into jam, and on the drying rack we placed amaryllis, blue candle, swamp flower, zebra cactus, jade cactus, candelabra, and wax agave. Honeycomb and dried honeycomb was stored away. A chest was finally set up for all the pressed flowers before we added purple coneflower, winter rose, amaryllis, crocus, and sweet pea to be pressed. Dark Tough and choco fruit went into the extractors, and we also got a chest set up finally to forever store away all the fruit smoothies before adding hot pepper, currants, blackberries, coconuts, blackcurrant, hardy kiwi, maypop, rose hips, sea buckthorn, sweet granadilla, ground cherries, and crystal berries to be blended. The crystal ball had an Aries lotion to ship and more forbidden Mount Vapius jewelry, replacing them with cinder shards, sea urchin, coral, daffodils, crocus, fiber, void essence, purple mushrooms, red mushrooms, crystal fruit, CP, solar essence, and coal. Carnation and chrysanthemums were added into the syrup making, 11 juices were stored, and a chest was set up for all the flower syrup. More ancient fruit was ready, so we shipped one off before ending the sorting Monday and seeing Harvey in the exercise class. We collected our steel trash can from Clint, chose manure research for this week's request, and gave Gunther a skeletal hand. The wizard got his ancient fruit he had requested, and in thanks he bestowed us with some blink fruits in return. At the night market we bought a good amount of new decor here and all the lantern recipes, before buying the rest of Nikolai's artisanal goods. From Lupini we bought clouds and a few more decorations from the other traders, and we got those blink fruits planted down, opening up a new area of the farm before we slept. On day 16, a blink fruit was already ready, so we shipped it off. We asked Robin to move one of our sheds a little, and then asked for a new one to be built. Expanding our artisanal, we set down 3 wax cauldrons, placing a good amount of flowers in there to start the process of making new goods, and then we set up a compact mill too. We gathered more ginger on the island and gave the professor a ribcage, and back at the night market we bought Lupini's 1000 years from now before buying the suit of armor, stone parrot, and cone hat. We finally had enough spare cash to erase Emily's mind that day, and we shared a snack with Zik afterwards before sleeping. On day 17 we had 2 new types of honey, and the wizard was asking the Junimos where they live. Clint found us 2 minerals that we were missing, opal and fluorapatite, and off we went to the island again to collect ginger and caught our first new piece of trash in a while. The final painting was bought from Lupini for year 2. We bought the stone owl and silkworm rack recipe, as well as a mulberry sapling before we headed home and slept for the night. On day 18, our first gem pigeon had hatched and was renamed Fiona Danger, which caused the original Fiona Danger to explode into meat, but at least now they have been resurrected into their final form, and we set up another void egg to incubate. The iridium gold and silver chicken meat was stored away, and one was shipped for completion. We harvested some turnips and shipped one off, cleared out an area at the beach, and got a cabin placed down there. At Grampleton we got the mulberry planted down, and we are still waiting on having time to properly decorate this area, but we are gonna get there eventually. We pet the void animals as we were behind on their friendship, and after making some money at Pierre's, got our second artisanal shed upgraded. Summer squash was added to juice and tomatoes to pickle to continue the raccoon quest line, and the shed got a loom ready to make candy floss with syrup in the future. Our first refreshment stand went into the second shed so we can start making iced teas and different juices with honey. We made our first water lanterns at the tree farm to light up the river, and I must say they do look kind of cute and beautiful. Afterwards clearing away some trees with plans to make this area into the birch and fir tree farm. 3 tea processors, a tea kettle and cheese press then got put down to expand artisanal even more, and we slept. On day 19 we learned how to make winter duck and blooming onion, with Gus asking us for a coconut. We turned back on the ability to make iridium honey, harvested chard, planted turnips. The manure request from Maru was completed after we had collected some more today, and we gathered our first Mount Vapius goose egg, so we stored it and shipped the other. The wandering trader provided us with a pufferfish and a new plant. We set up the new tree farm, getting paths around the trees set down, stored away a bait and bobber book that we had dug up, and fruit and veg went into the refreshment stand as well as the tea processor. On day 20, for finishing Maru's request, she sent us a book which we read instantly, so we reset the day to try adding it onto a sign, fearing we wouldn't be able to get it again. But that failed, so we made a sign anyway with some manure to show we had collected the item. And yeah, if I hadn't already mentioned it, the pickup clutter mod had also deleted all our signs under the farm with our unique items, so we're gonna have to respawn those back in before spring begins. At Robin's we asked for a mill and quickly collected our gold watering can before organizing our chest monster. The pickup clutter was placed down in the quarry. Clint got the remaining iridium he wanted for the summit boulder before we emptied out the cabin as best we could and transferred all the fish mods we had into the beach cabin, separating them all out into their different mods. We couldn't move the starter seeds that were in the cabin, so we'll need to add a mod to remove it, but finally we have some more of the farm organized and tidied away. The forever home for the Forage of Ferngil mod was also placed down, and we slept. The Queen of Sauce tossed us bruschetta on day 21, and we reorganized the shed now that it had been upgraded, also adding in a charcoal kiln for our more artisanal creations. The first tea sachet was set to turn into tea, and from Pierre we got some bay, lilac and camellia saplings to expand East Scarp and our next bouquet. The saplings went down with a chest to automate them, and Victor was given a bouquet so we can start dating. We found a unicorn horn in the mountains, stored away our first silver goose egg, and set up the first blast chiller in the shed. We laid out an area to make sure grass doesn't grow in the spring for the pigs to dig up truffles, heard an explosion at the railway, and then we slept the night away. On the morning of day 22, Magnus said that he had been given permission to teach us warp magic. Our first silver gourds were ready, so 1 was shipped off and 3 were stored away, before finding our first iridium quality fertilizers after reading Maru's book. A gold void feather and our first gem pigeon feathers were restored, and it's time for the final sorting day of the season. A load of items went into the fridge, allowing us to cook sweet gem parfait, cranberry chutney, crocus jelly, pixie bitters, mango chutney, rose petal jelly, strawberry rhubarb jam, summery orange marmalade, blackberry mint jelly, horseradish pickle chips, mushroom kebab, spring onion soup, mayo cold pot, pesto pasta, soy meat, extra lucky lunch, asparagus quiche, chicken wing, buffalo wing, chapia, poppy seed muffin, bruschetta, and a rocky root coffee. The missing quality of coconut flour was stored away and brown sugar was shipped. An iridium prehistoric tool, glass shard, and fan got placed away, with 60 more artifacts being added to increase their quality. The skeletal tail and fossilized leg went to be covered in amber, with a normal golden mask, prehistoric tibia, vertebrate leg, and ancient sword getting stored. Dark Tough and choco extract were taken from the extruders, with 8 more syrups stored. 50 more pressed flowers and 6 more juices were ready for storage. All the polished gems from Mount Vapus went away, with Morning Dew, Rosalia palette, Violet palette, and Wrath blush getting shipped and stored. Everlasting Amaryllis was ready. The final missing blue quality of blue candle was added. 4 smoothies were stored away. Pine nuts, chili powder, applesauce, pepper, salt, shrimp paste, rose petal, ceremonial matcha, sakura tea sachets, and amazing apple juice were shipped before all getting stored away, with 4 types of soap as well. 1 of each ancient fruit was also stored. 1 was set to turn into jam, 1 into juice, and 4 into wine, and the final sorting day was done. Gunther received a fossilized apple, and we chose the winter flowers request from Ideen to complete this week. Finally able to visit the summit, we collected our first thistles and winter star rose from here. We dug up a globby shirt, talked to Clint about his girl troubles, and Luna almost finally told us about her past. Krobus the dwarf underwent the seal of promise, and we found a pair of unlucky purple shorts in the sewers. We bought 5 recipes from Krobus, found our next mermaid pendant, and went to sleep. Our cooking leveled as we slept, and on day 23 we had a load of snapdragons to harvest. 1 of each was stored and shipped, and we also got our first gem pigeon feather shipped too. We harvested the slime hearts, checked out the mill, bought 2 Jersey cows called Django and Hobbit, caught our first giant crystal fish, and at the Vapius market bought the old shield and old minor lamp. Our next paper flowers in a vase, king chair, and some common grape starters. We maxed out Victor's friendship, so we proposed, cleared out some of East Scarp ready for our first fish pond, and slept again. On day 24, the Radicchio was ready, so all qualities were stored. 1 was shipped, and the new void chicken was born, and we called her Julia, and we got that first pond set down. At the booksellers, we were happy to see Maru's book for sale, also buying Way of the Wind Part 2, Mining Monthly, and the Stardew Valley Almanac. Gunther received 3 items for the Mount Babius collection, rewarding us with the fossil display. Over on the island, we got our first bananas and donated a fossilized spine that we had managed to dig up. We gave the gorilla 1 of those bananas, allowing us to have enough golden walnuts to pay for the island resort. And back at home, we ate a banana and mango to get the final 2 items for the sliced fruit mod, meaning that is now completed and we don't need to think about it. We could store away 1 of each quality of ocean mist. We hung up the fossil decor, made a final home for the 6 crops of winter mod, and we slept. Our luck leveled as we slept, and on day 25 we had a new meteor on the farm. Juniper was harvested, stored, and shipped. The old meteor was broken up so we could use this area for a new coop in the future. We could add a golden quality gem pigeon feather to the collection, made 2 more blast chillers which we finally set to work, and off to the feast of the winter star we went. We bought the light string, pine, ornate window, and other items from here that we didn't already have. Got the peppermint hot cocoa recipe, and gave Kaya her secret gift, delicious spruce pine wine. And from Nikolai we got an eggplant parmesan. We quickly cooked up some sushi rice, and then we slept. Again, our legs got better as we slept, and on day 26 we were married for the 3rd time, also learning the stuffed bell pepper recipe in the mail. The wandering trader had a golden aura grape for us, finding another rare unicorn horn at the bus stop and our first soulberries while we were there. We foraged at the summit again, and at the island we almost finished off the island ingredients request and dropped off the crocus to finish off Idine's winter flowers request too. Trading in a ticket got us another iridium sprinkler, which went down into Grandpa's shed. The forage chest was upgraded, and we started making a layout for the area close to the lightning rods before sleeping. On day 27, Demetrius was asking for a 3-eyed fish. We got some new paths laid down and designated an area for the everlasting flower mod, and I'm hoping to put some crystals here later to finish it all off. We got the final piece of ginger we needed, also finding a snake skull for the professor before completing the totem challenge on the island. From Marnie we bought 2 Holstein cows, naming them Waffle and Cat 607, gave Sophia a fairy rose for her birthday, maxing out her friendship, buying 5 quality sprinklers from her for the farm, and on the way home we found Leah's Whittler, receiving some fairy dust from the raccoons for finishing their next request as well. A few of those sprinklers we had bought got placed down, and we added 8 new kegs into the money-making shed, as we are still struggling at time for money, but we do have a game plan for this going into year 3 after a bit of help and advice from those over on my Discord. And then we come to the final day of winter. It was the final day and we learned how to make shrimp cocktail today, immediately getting it cooked and stored away. And as it was the last day, the winter flowers got harvested with 7 more iridium honeys ready for forever storage. Our glitching blue roses provided us with 886 of them, so we stored 1 of each, shipped 1, kept a good amount, and threw 600 into the river. But with any luck, we can now focus on processing the 6 crops for winter mod items into artisanal goods now, and we won't have to grow them ever again. We bought the blueberries painting from the Wandering Trader and our next mulberry sapling before buying our first white llama called Cat from Marnie and a brown one called Florence. From Robin, we paid for a house upgrade, stocked up on sugar, set down 3 sugar boilers, planted the second mulberry, added an autopetter into the void coop as it was missing one, and then it was off to the Ember of resolutions. So there you have it. Another year in the valley has gone. We are ramping up artisanal slowly. We have our first fish pond on the go, a good number of animals checked off, and the museum is very close to completion. As it stands, even though we will keep adding mods for a while longer, we are at 20% completion for this challenge, but that was the easy part. Things are only going to get harder from now on. After all, we have only completed 3 out of the 94 mods we have so far. It's been another fun year and I have loved hanging out with you all on stream, so I shall see you all again soon in the next stream or the next video, and be sure to look out for the complete year 2 collection movie coming out very soon. Bye for now, I'll see you again soon.